Toronto in winter moves at a different pace. Snow settles along downtown streets, steam rises from subway grates, and the skyline becomes sharper against colder air. The city does not pause for the season. It adjusts, shifts inward and outward, and continues to function as a major urban destination even in the coldest months. What defines Toronto's winter is not just weather, but structure. Museums become central gathering points. Observation decks, indoor paths, and public rinks shape how people move through the city. Seasonal events temporarily change familiar streets, while day trips beyond the city offer a quieter contrast. Together, these elements form a version of Toronto that is practical, organized, and designed to stay active year-round. To understand how this works in practice, it helps to look more closely at the winter experience itself. Toronto's museums play a practical role during winter. On colder days, they function as warm, accessible spaces that keep cultural life active while the city outside slows down. The number of museums across Toronto reflects this balance between education, architecture, and seasonal comfort. The Royal Ontario Museum stands out for its scale and range. Its collections move from natural history and world cultures to archaeology and science, creating a layout that supports long, unhurried visits. Large interior galleries, temporary exhibitions, and clear circulation make it well-suited to winter tourism, when visitors tend to spend extended time indoors. The building itself, combining historic and contemporary architecture, has become part of the museum's identity within the city. The Art Gallery of Ontario offers a different rhythm. Its focus on visual art, from Canadian works to international collections, creates a quieter and more reflective experience. Open interior spaces, controlled lighting, and long sightlines shape how visitors move through the galleries. In winter, the Art Gallery of Ontario often becomes a destination not just for exhibitions, but for the experience of spending time inside a carefully designed cultural space. Beyond these major institutions, the city's museum landscape continues to expand. The AutoShow Museum explores design and social history through footwear. The Gardner Museum focuses on ceramics and craft traditions, and the Aga Khan Museum presents Islamic art and culture within a purpose-built contemporary setting. Each adds a distinct layer to Toronto's cultural map. Just south of the museum districts, the CN Tower remains one of the city's most recognizable structures. In winter, visibility often increases as colder air sharpens views across Lake Ontario and the surrounding region. Observation levels provide a controlled indoor environment, allowing visitors to experience the city's scale without exposure to the elements. The tower's location also places it at the center of several major attractions. Directly beside it, Ripley's Aquarium of Canada offers a compact indoor experience, often paired with a visit to the tower, especially during colder months when indoor attractions naturally group together. The St. Lawrence Market plays a steady role in Toronto's winter rhythm. As one of the city's longest-running public markets, it functions less as a seasonal attraction and more as a daily anchor for food culture. In colder months, its indoor layout becomes especially important, offering a warm, enclosed space where local life continues without interruption. Inside, the market brings together butchers, bakeries, produce vendors, specialty food shops, and small eateries under one roof. The focus remains practical rather than touristic, with an emphasis on fresh ingredients, prepared foods, and regional products. Winter visits tend to be slower and more deliberate, allowing time to move between stalls, observe routines, and understand how the market supports both residents and nearby businesses. Its central location also makes it easy to combine with nearby downtown walks, reinforcing its role as a functional and cultural hub throughout the year. Ice skating is one of the most recognizable winter activities in Toronto. During the colder months, the city opens a network of free outdoor skating rinks across different neighborhoods, turning public squares and waterfront areas into seasonal gathering points. These rinks are designed to be accessible, informal, and easy to combine with everyday city life. The most iconic of them is the Nathan Phillips Square Ice Rink. Set directly in front of City Hall, this rink operates within one of Toronto's most visible civic spaces. Skating takes place against a backdrop of modern architecture, illuminated signage, and surrounding office towers. In winter evenings, lighting and music often shape the atmosphere, while daytime sessions feel more functional and local. Its central location makes it one of the easiest winter activities to integrate into a downtown visit. Along the waterfront, Harbourfront Centre offers a different setting. The rink here sits close to Lake Ontario, where open sightlines and changing weather conditions influence the experience. Skating tends to feel slower and less crowded, with views that extend beyond the city grid toward the water. The surrounding cultural venues and cafes add context, making the area feel active even in colder conditions. Further west, the Bentway introduces a more unconventional skating environment. Located beneath the Gardiner Expressway, the rink uses infrastructure as shelter, reducing wind and exposure while creating a linear skating route. This space reflects how Toronto adapts existing urban structures for seasonal use, blending recreation with design and public space planning. Each winter, the Bentway also hosts a distinctive seasonal event known as the Polar Bear Skate. Held toward the end of December, the event invites participants onto the ice dressed in minimal winter attire, often limited to underwear despite the cold conditions. The contrast between the exposed skaters and the sheltered space beneath the expressway highlights both the playful character of the event and the controlled environment the location provides. Over time, it has become a recurring marker of Toronto's winter calendar, blending humor, endurance, and public spectacle. As an alternative, the Barbara Ann Scott Ice Trail near College Park offers a shorter, trail-style skating loop. It functions as a quieter option, often chosen by those looking for a less crowded and more relaxed winter stop. As winter approaches, especially closer to the holiday season, Toronto's streets begin to change visually. Homes, shop windows, and commercial streets are gradually decorated with illuminated displays, creating pockets of light across different neighborhoods. These decorations are not limited to a single district. They appear throughout the city, shaping evening walks and reinforcing the seasonal atmosphere during shorter days. Seasonal events play a central role in Toronto's winter calendar. Rather than relying on a single attraction, the city spreads these events across different locations and timeframes, keeping public spaces active throughout the colder months. The Toronto Santa Claus Parade, typically held toward the end of November, marks the informal start of the holiday season. Large floats, marching bands, and themed performances move through downtown streets, drawing both residents and visitors. The parade's scale and long-running tradition make it one of the city's most visible winter events. At Canada's Wonderland, Winterfest transforms the amusement park from mid-November into early January. Seasonal lighting, themed areas, and limited winter-friendly rides redefine the space, shifting its focus from thrill attractions to atmosphere and family-oriented experiences. The park becomes less about speed and more about spectacle during this period. The Distillery, Winter Village, also known as the Toronto Christmas Market, operates from mid-November to early January. Set within the historic Distillery District, the event combines decorative lighting, market stalls, and pedestrian-only streets. The preserved industrial architecture provides a structured backdrop, making the village one of the city's most visually consistent winter settings. The Winter Glow, presented as a free holiday carnival at Sankofa Square, usually takes place in mid-December. The event combines large-scale light installations with family-oriented winter activities, interactive zones, and seasonal programming. Rather than functioning as a traditional market, it focuses on creating an open, walk-through environment where lighting, music, and public space design shape the experience after dark. Lunar New Year celebrations add another layer to Toronto's winter events, especially in Chinatown. Parades, cultural performances, and temporary decorations reflect the city's diverse population, extending the winter calendar beyond Western holiday traditions and into late winter. Alongside outdoor events, indoor venues remain active throughout the season. Large convention spaces such as the Metro Toronto Convention Centre and Exhibition Place regularly host winter exhibitions and trade shows. Among the most notable are the Toronto International Boat Show and the Canadian International AutoShow, both of which attract large crowds and reinforce the city's year-round event infrastructure. In summer, Toronto Islands function as one of the city's most popular recreational areas. In winter, the same landscape shifts into something far quieter and more restrained. Snow-covered paths, closed amusement areas, and empty shorelines change the islands into a space defined by stillness rather than activity. During the winter season, ferry service operates only towards island, limiting access to a single point. Restaurants, cafes, and seasonal facilities remain closed, and there is little commercial activity once on the island. The result is an unusually isolated environment so close to downtown. Despite this, the islands offer some of the clearest winter views of Toronto's skyline, unobstructed by buildings or traffic. For those prepared for the conditions, quiet walks along the shoreline and through wooded paths become the main experience, turning the islands into a natural lookout rather than a recreational hub. Beneath the surface, the path underground city becomes one of the most practical elements of Toronto's winter infrastructure. This interconnected pedestrian network links office towers, shopping centers, transit stations, food courts, and major attractions across downtown. During colder months, it allows daily life to continue with minimal exposure to weather, shaping how people commute, shop, and spend time in the city center. In winter, path is not simply a shortcut, but a parallel city operating indoors. Activity levels remain consistent throughout the day, especially during working hours, and the network naturally concentrates cafes, casual dining, and retail into accessible corridors. For visitors, it offers an alternative way to explore downtown Toronto, revealing how urban design responds directly to seasonal conditions and reinforces the city's ability to function efficiently even during extended periods of cold. If time in Toronto extends beyond a single day, nearby destinations become an important part of the winter experience. Short travel distances make it possible to leave the city in the morning and return the same day, revealing a different side of southern Ontario during colder months. One of the most accessible options is Niagara Falls. In winter, reduced crowds and frozen mist along the gorge create a quieter atmosphere, while the falls themselves remain active year-round. Ice formations along walkways and observation points change the visual scale of the landscape, and colder temperatures often improve visibility. Surrounding attractions operate on a reduced but steady schedule, making the area more focused on the natural setting rather than seasonal tourism. A short distance from the falls, Niagara-on-the-Lake offers a contrasting environment. The town's historic streets and preserved architecture feel slower and more residential in winter. Many wineries remain open with limited hours, and the absence of peak season crowds allows the town's layout and setting near Lake Ontario to stand out. Winter visits tend to center on walking, local dining, and a more subdued pace. Further north, the village of Elora provides a different type of day trip. Known for its limestone gorge and river system, Elora becomes especially atmospheric in winter, when snow highlights the surrounding cliffs and historic buildings. Trails and viewpoints remain accessible depending on conditions, and the village center retains a compact, walkable layout that suits short visits. Nearby, Fergus complements Elora with its Scottish-influenced heritage and stone architecture. In winter, the town feels quieter and more residential, with river paths and historic streets shaping the experience. Together, Elora and Fergus form a paired destination that emphasizes small-town structure, landscape, and seasonal calm, offering a clear contrast to Toronto's urban environment. Winter in Toronto is not defined by a single attraction or seasonally limited experience. It is shaped by how the city reorganizes itself when temperatures drop, shifting activity indoors while keeping public spaces active outdoors. Museums, observation points, skating rinks, seasonal events, and quieter natural areas all serve different purposes, but together they reveal a city designed to function year-round. What becomes clear over time is that winter here is structured rather than restrictive. Movement continues, but it follows different routes. Entertainment becomes more localized, experiences slow down, and familiar places take on new roles. From dense downtown spaces to isolated waterfront paths, Toronto's winter landscape shows how urban life adapts instead of disappearing. If this guide helped frame Toronto as a winter destination, consider supporting the channel by liking the video, sharing your thoughts in the comments, and subscribing to Wanderway for more documentary-style travel stories.